Today I'm going to be building some Roman-inspired baths for a D&D game that can double up as some ornate fountains to make them a nice reusable bit of scatter terrain. Now the main material I'm planning to use for these builds will be foam board. I get this stuff from an office supply store, but you can get it from craft shops and things like that. This stuff is a staple in the crafting hobby and something I use a lot of. A lot of people ask me about it in the comments. It's just a 5mm thick foam board. I buy them in A2 sheets. Once you've got that paper layer off, you're left with a nice section of foam that you can cut and carve really easily. So this will be the material we're going to be using today.
So I did have a plan for how I wanted the build to look, and for that I made this template that would help me get my stages correct. It'll make sense as we go further along. I printed out the template, marked it out and traced over the picture, which left nice indents in the foam, which showed me exactly where to cut. You would have seen the design either at the start of this video or in the thumbnail, so you know that I went stage steps up to the top. In this particular case, the top step wasn't right, so I recut that out and got it a bit more balanced. Now we're going to start adding in magnets for even more modularity. I'm just carving out a hole with a pen in this case. Later on I come in with a hot glue gun and actually melt that properly in. This is making it big enough for a 3x3mm magnet to stick in place. I'll be hot gluing all of these down while also using my magic stick, which is just a stick with the polarity of magnets on either side, so I can make sure this will match the directions of all the other modular magnetic pieces I've made for any other projects. Now, before we stick everything together, I'm just going to line them all up and quickly carve out some basic brickwork. I almost definitely should have done this with a scalpel first because this kind of tore up the foam, but well, live and learn. Now we've got some basic carvings in there, it's time to hit them with some textures. So we're going to scrunch up some aluminium foil and just rub that all over them, giving them a nice rocky texture, then gluing them all in place. Now we can take some little scraps of foam and cut them down to size and then drop our magnets onto our base where they are underneath. Press our piece down on top and we have a perfect template of where to add the magnets. So again, using our magic stick to make sure they're all poking the right way. Now that'll hold down nicely and we can repeat for the other side. It was about here I realized I need one more layer because I need a floor if I want to fill this with resin. So I just cut out another piece and basically traced around the outside of the entire shape, just giving myself the same rough gap. The only difference between this layer and the others is that instead of cutting out the center in the middle, I'm going to be carving in a stone texture. Then cutting out the outer layers to get our shape ready before rubbing in a bit more of that aluminium texture and carving out a section to add a little drain. I'll be using a little bit of granny grading cut down to size for our drain. This stuff is a super handy material and is going to come up again later in the build. Once that's glued in place, I'm just going to clean up the edges around the drain and then glue our pieces together. Now we have that all stuck together, it's time to seal it up. You see, I want to spray paint this and I don't want the aerosol from the spray paint to just melt all of the foam. So we're covering it in a Mod Podge and paint mix with a little bit of water just to make it a bit easier to work with. This will coat everything and seal it up. Now, while that dries, let's work on the next piece of modularity. We're going to make a big stone top piece that's going to go right on top if we don't want this to be a water feature, allowing you to make it into an altar or a stage, basically just giving you more options from this build so you can make the most out of your efforts. I quickly realized this could also be a stone roof. I just need some pillars to hold it up. So I grabbed this cardboard round tube, cut it down to size, and then got this corrugated paper from my local craft store. This is from the scrapbooking section and it's going to work perfectly to wrap around these cardboard cylinders and make some Roman inspired columns. But they're just too big. So I cheated and 3D modeled a quick design. This already has holes in the top and bottom for magnets as well, and a base piece that'll help it balance a bit better. I'm still using that same corrugated cardboard and sticking it to these, but this time with double-sided tape. These 3D models are so basic. I probably could have designed the whole thing with those ridges on it, but I don't know how to 3D model that well. And you know what, I really do need to actually learn how to 3D model so I can make some more bits and pieces for this channel. And that just so happens to work in perfectly with today's sponsor, Skillshare. Skillshare is an online platform for creatives, whether you're a hobbyist, a professional, or somewhere in between. Whether it's just a new hobby, a creative pursuit, you want to improve your business, or maybe start a YouTube channel of your own, they have got you covered.
I, for one, am going straight to those beginner blender courses, and I found this course by Derek Elliott, and I can't wait to get stuck into the 3D modeling. So far, I am loving the production quality and the bite-sized work at your own pace style of learning. They have a lot more options. I'm going to go a lot more in depth on this blender side, I think, but there is all these other areas that I'm really excited to try my hand at, especially as I want this channel to expand into more creative fields going forward. So I can't wait to see just how much I can learn from Skillshare. If this sounds like something that interests you, go to the link in my description or scan the QR code on screen right now. The first 500 of you to either scan that code or click the link in my description will get a 30-day free trial on Skillshare. A big thank you again to Skillshare for sponsoring this week's episode. Go check them out if it's something that interests you. And now back to the build.
Let's magnetize those columns. Adding magnets into those columns is easy because it was designed in the perfect size, so they just slot in nicely. Now I have 4 pillars that are fully magnetized that can come and go from this build. Now it's time to start painting. So everything gets hit with a grey primer to start. Then I went over everything with this tan colour, but didn't love it. I wanted more of a white marble, so I came back in with a Wraithbone white. And I'm going to change my mind again later, so just remember there's never a perfect way and you can always change your mind as you go with these builds.
So this is where we're at so far. I don't hate the paint, but I also don't love it. So I'm going to try something a little bit different. But essentially now what we have is a basis for a Roman bath or magnetic, so we can make it a little bit more modular. I don't love how thin this looks on top, for one. It's not a bad option if I want a stone top, but I want something to be a little bit more overgrown. So what I'm thinking is I want to put a couple of pots that will be holding wooden stakes that will hold up a wooden system on top with a garden trellis. It'll make sense when you see it. As for the pots, I was going to be using these tops from Powerade bottles, but they're just a little bit too big, which is unfortunate because they've got a really cool design to them. But I will probably find a use for these somewhere else. What I did have, on the other hand, were these tiny little tops from pump water bottles. These are just little plastic protector bits that you take off before you start drinking, but these do need some work.
But first I'll cut down some balsa wood and rough it up to make the stakes that will hold up our rooftop trellis. Then grabbing those containers, lining them up, dropping a magnet in place so they stick where we want them to, then adding in some bicarb soda and super glue. This will dry super quick and super solid, holding everything in place. As a bit of an experiment, I just tried filling up the entire base with bicarb soda and then more glue, just seeing how much I could fit. I was kind of hoping it would soak the whole way through, but because it dries so quick, it only gets so deep. But it still did the trick and held everything together. So then I covered up our wooden pieces and gave that a prime, because that plastic is probably not going to take paint too well by itself. Now, while that's drying, I've got some other stuff to take care of.
I didn't love how the paint sat on a lot of these edges for the foam. Obviously it didn't seal enough that it really solidly covered up all of the little bubbles. So I am going to go over some of these with some white gesso to try and fill it in and give it a little bit more texture again.
I've used gesso before, but I've mixed it in with things, so I wanted to try it out today. It does go on really thick, which is nice for filling in little holes in the foam. But also I realized that by sort of splotching it on, it added a little bit more texture to my build, and if I didn't put on too thick, it let some of those other colors sort of poke through, giving me a really nice dappled marble look. Really what I was kind of going for the whole time. So ultimately this was really the perfect paint and would have probably done great to start with because it is also a primer. Once it was dry, I did hit it with a contrast apothecary white, just mainly focusing in on the areas where I thought shadows or grime would stick over time, again giving us just more of a dappled shifting of colors and more variety. And then a bright silver on each of these bars for the drain. Again, probably not a necessary part of the build, but I like adding tiny little details. Now, because I want to fill this with resin, I want to really make sure it is sealed solid. So I'm going to go over the entire inside with matte Mod Podge. And while it's drying, I'm going to do the same paint job on the pots that we've done over the rest of our marble, finishing them in the gesso. Once they're dried, I peel away all that masking tape and we're going to add a little bit of a brown contrast paint into the base just to start off our soil, and then take everything outside to seal up using a clear enamel matte spray, hoping that this would stop any reaction between the resin and the paint. And that's what I get for going the extra step to try and seal it up. I caused more problems than anything with that spray. I don't know what exactly it was, but it reacted weirdly to both the paints and to the areas that I coated in Mod Podge. It could have also just been that it was really humid and wet and it didn't dry properly, but ultimately it caused a heap of problems that I need to cover up. So I just came in with a light white paint from Citadel. It's a layer paint, so it doesn't really have a hugely intense pigment. So it kind of allowed some of those weird patterns to poke through underneath, which honestly, I kind of didn't hate in the end. It enhanced that marble effect, if anything. So this ended up becoming one of those happy accidents. Now let's move on to the trellis roof. For this, I'm going to be cutting up a bigger piece of balsa wood to make a couple of base beams, and then we'll be connecting them all up. But first I want to carve a little notch in the bottom of them so that they'll sit nicely on the beams that we've already built. We'll be coming back with magnets for these later as well, but right now I'm just going to start adding our secondary layer of balsa wood on top, just slowly building out some kind of system to hold a garden trellis roof. And for our trellis, we're going to be cutting out more of that granny grating to sit in each of these sections, before taking it outside and painting it up with a nice tan colour. And while that dries, it's time for my favourite part of any build, adding in the life. I'll be using this cheap vine stuff. I don't remember exactly where I got it, but essentially it is this stuff here that I've gotten before on Amazon, Temu and different places, with a heap of coloured flocking. This just happened to be in a bag marked vines. Just like I do with my trees, I gave them a pretty heavy spritz in a quick grip spray adhesive, and once that got tacky, I just started sticking it in place. This all kind of clumps together, and with a bit of that sticky glue, it just holds really nicely in whatever form you squeeze it into. So after a little bit of playing around,
we have a full set of 4 planter wooden bases and our roof, which I would like to magnetize, but for now it just slots in perfectly. Ish. A little bit of, hang on, 1 second. Perfectly.
Yeah, look, I'm definitely gonna have to add magnets to that. So I grabbed out a 3mm drill bit and very carefully drilled little 3mm holes into the top of each of our wooden posts. Perfectly sized for those same magnets we were using earlier. We could of course have this just glued together as one piece, but this way I can use these just as flower pots as scatter terrain, or we can attach them to our roof. Speaking of our roof, I need to also drill that out for some magnets to just help hold this all together that little bit tighter.
Okay, it's looking pretty awesome so far. Now we just want this top piece to look completely overgrown.
And for this, we're going back to the quick grip. I'm going to spray the lattice work that we did, and then just start sticking all of these vines on. I'm going to keep the top nice and flat so we can play minis on top if we want, but then start wrapping it around the corners where it will match up with the posts from underneath. And not forgetting to fill in the underside. It's overgrown, it's overflowing, and I love it. It's just my vibe. I did hit it with a bit more of the quick grip and added some more of the loose petals just so he had some more flowers on the top. And then I realized how much I liked the overflowing look, so I added some more to our original pots, but made it look like they were flowing over the edge of the pots, not just so well manicured along the base. Yeah, that's much better. Now, all of our bits and pieces are looking good. It's time to start adding some resin to fill up our bath. But first, we're going to need a mask. This stuff releases fumes, so wear the right stuff. A mask and some gloves. People have called me out in the past, and I'm going to do better. Before I use the deep pour resin, I am going to now grab some UV resin and go around all of the edges and connections where we glued things together that the resin will be poured, and just make sure that they are extra sealed. I've done like 6 different things to seal this up, so hopefully we don't get a leak, but you never know. Now before we pour the resin, we have one more thing to do. I've got to hide a little frog away in here somewhere, and this little blue guy is the perfect one to hide away under the seat. And we'll seal him in place with a little bit more UV resin before we do the main pour so he doesn't float away.
Okay, hopefully now that's sealed up nicely and we don't get another bad reaction like we got with the sealant before, and we can move on to our clear resin. This is a 2-part epoxy, and I'm going to try my best to make sure I mix this equally, because if I don't, this thing could be stuffed. But even if it screws up, we'll find a way to make it work. We can always make it work.
This can go back on.
And now I'm just going to mix the resin up. It's a 2-to-1 mix, so I'm going to do my absolute best to nail that mix, because if I get it wrong, it's going to take either forever to set, or it won't set, or it'll just... I just want to get this measurement right. So I make sure it's mixed up as thoroughly as possible and pour it into the bath. I'm doing this in one long, tall pour, trying to minimize any bubbles, and I think I did a pretty good job, even though, to be honest, the bubbles will be fine. Now, we just need to let the resin cure.
Okay, so no leaks, which is a great thing, but it's not cured yet. I didn't pay proper attention to the cure times on the actual resin. I'm gonna need to leave this for another day. But that's what I get for not testing products first, and as you can tell, half the time I sort of just wing it, and I guess I get to make the mistakes so you guys don't.
24 hours later.
I've left that for another day to cure, and now we have a nice solid top. It's still a little bit yellow. I would have liked that to go more clear, but I guess my resin is just a little bit aged. Now, while I love the clear resin top, I want it to look a little bit more agitated. For this, we're gonna be using gloss Mod Podge. Everything else was matte because we wanted to dry nice and matte, but in this case, we want to keep that glossy, watery finish. So I'll grab a gloss Mod Podge and just blotch little bits all over, leaving little bumps and irregularities. So when that dries out, it makes the top look uneven and like rippling water.
It'll dry clear. I had a few little patchy bits on top that I'll fix up later. But for now, I think I'm gonna call it done.
And I am pretty happy with how this has all come together. With all this magnetic modularity, I can mix these things up so well and get so many different uses out of these builds. Now, instead of just having one piece, I actually have a whole collection of parts that all match, that can mix and match to create different environments in the same setting. I've grabbed some of the magnetized bits and pieces I did in my last magnetized fountains build, and they play into this perfectly as well. This entire build was a show in pivoting where mistakes were made and just leaning into those errors, and honestly, I'm pretty happy with what I've got on the table.
I wasn't really expecting to have two full kind of unique sections. We've got the temple style and then like the trellis overgrown vibe that ended up actually playing out that we could have both on the table at any given time, and we could mix and match elements to decide which was a bit more prominent. But it's awesome that they match and that we can use all these parts to make a bigger set than just one piece.
I knew I'd got my inspiration from this build from somewhere, but I couldn't place it earlier in this build. But as I was finishing up this edit, I actually found the original post. This post from Pikosawi. Honestly, without knowing the original reference, I think I copied his a lot more closely than I would have liked to have, but it was really just a good homage to his work. Go check out the rest of his stuff. Full credit where credit is due. Clearly mine is inspired by his, whether I realized it or not during the build. His stuff is amazing. His build is better than mine. Go check it out. But mine does have the magnets. I hope you guys have found something that inspires you in today's build, and let me know what you'd like to see me do more of within this magnetic modular world and what else I can add to these pieces. I definitely have more plans for this. You'll see more in a few videos time. Thanks again to Skillshare for sponsoring this week's episode. Use the link in my description or scan the QR code in the corner. If you're one of the first 500, you'll get a free month with Skillshare. And until next time, never stop making stuff.